toolbox.
Well, it's an honor for me too. So I thank you. And it's about those connections and working together because really we are in this together. And it's just about raising the vibration and the happiness in our world. And the more people that we can touch, the happier our world gets. So,
Yes, and by the way, in terms of oh, they're listening to our conversation.
okay.
We don't have the exact count because some are on the phone and some are in groups in conference rooms.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. And today is going to be a very special session. It's going to be on the internal war of negative thoughts with Kristin Bruce, and she'll be introducing herself. She is new to our program, and we would like to thank her for her generosity in sharing her time. Kristin Bruce has MS in school counseling, and she's a published author starting from scratch. And these informational sessions for you are always voluntary in nature in terms of your attendance. Please post your questions on the chat and complete the evaluation at the end of the session. And if you have any medical needs, please consult your healthcare provider. Thank you, and take it away, Kristen.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to be here today. And I'm going to talk about winning the war of negative thoughts. So it's a war that we are all familiar with, right? Maybe a little too familiar. I'm not talking about the war overseas, the one we see in the 45-second news clips on the nightly news channels. No, I'm talking about the war that we are all living in on the front lines. Where's the battle? It's in you. That's right. Every one of us has an internal war going on within ourselves. And the scary thing is, most of us don't even know it. This is a war that keeps us out of the we. It's a battle to live from our soul, that place deep within us that knows our own light and connectivity. This war lives in those little subtle thoughts that are in our mind. You know the ones, right? They go, "Ooh, he looks really good today. I need to lose some weight." Or, "We have this new girl on our team. She is so amazing. I just love her. I hope my boss doesn't like her more than me." Or, "I'm so excited to give my speech today. What if they don't like it?" We're all familiar with these thoughts, right? Egoic thoughts that keep us in continuous suffering. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. They get worse. If you really dig deep underneath those thoughts, you'll find that they stem from, "I'm not good enough. I'm not safe. I'm going to be alone." And then there's the mother of all thoughts. "I'm not lovable." And if you're having any of these thoughts, you certainly don't love yourself. Now, you just had one of two instantaneous reactions. Either she's speaking to me, or I don't have those thoughts. And maybe you don't, but think about it. Have you ever felt jealous? Have you ever felt left out? Have you ever taken a drink to relax or feel more confident? Have you ever shoved a Snickers bar or a cigarette into your mouth at the end of a stressful day? If you've said yes to any of these, then you are in an internal war with yourself. Now, the thoughts are subtle and they keep us doing crazy things like dreading the staff Christmas party because we don't feel good in social situations. Sure, we might say to our peer, "I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see you there." But then secretly to ourselves, we say, "I'm going to get there late because I don't want to have to talk to Jane because she is so amazing and I never know what to say to her." And underneath that thought is another thought. I don't feel safe being my true self, i.e., I don't feel safe living from my soul. Or maybe you wake up to your dog barking and realize you're out of pet food. So you drive to the store thinking, hoping you don't see anyone you know. Sure enough, you walk in the store, and right in the direct line of the path to the pet food aisle is your neighbor. Now you're in your sweats, your hair's in a scrunchie, and you haven't brushed your teeth. So what do? You take the long way around the store. And underneath that action is another thought. I may be embarrassed because I probably have bad breath and I don't feel good enough to be seen right now. Ego just pulled ahead. Now, to an extent, these thoughts are normal, right? They come from our ego and everyone has them. But with communication and timing, they can be cleared. It's when we don't clear these thoughts that they can lead to the anger, anxiety, and depression that so many of us, maybe even you, are suffering from. I did. For 10 years of my life, I struggled with depression. I took antidepressants and I just survived. And I don't mean the depression where it was like, I don't want to get out of bed, but fine, I'll stop hitting the snooze button and I'll get in the shower. I don't mean that kind of depression. No, I mean the I don't want to be here anymore kind. I lived every day dreading getting up. I took antidepressants and I just got by. Now, sure, I could function at work because I was really good at my job. But the whole time I was at work, I was living with the thoughts of, I just want to be back home in my pajamas in bed. And when I did get home from work, because I still had 5 or 6 hours before it was actually time to go to sleep, I zoned out watching TV. I loved the entertainment shows, the Hollywood entertainment shows, because they allowed me to escape my life and live in somebody else's that seemed more glamorous and happy. Now, you might be thinking, if she took antidepressants, why wasn't she happy? I know a million people, they're all on Prozac and they live active, happy lives. Well, the antidepressants were keeping me alive. They stopped those uncontrollable bouts of crying for no reason. But they did that by numbing my feelings. And with my feelings numbed, I didn't feel the happy feelings either. Sure, I could go to friends' birthday dinners and sing happy birthday and tell some jokes and be happy. But when I got home, I went back to just not feeling again. I knew there was something more to life. I wasn't truly happy. And how could I be? I was still living with the thoughts of, I'm not good enough. I'm not safe. I'm going to be alone. No pill takes those away. I was in an internal war with myself, and I didn't even know it. Now, I knew there was more to life. I just wanted to be happy, right? And so I started looking at my thoughts, and I found a pattern. I realized that from the outside, people saw me as sweet, smiley, and bubbly. But from the inside, I was mean to myself. And honestly, even as a child, I always felt mean. People wouldn't have labeled me as mean. I kept that part hidden. But that started Kristin's World War II. Don't be yourself. People won't like you. Be sweet, be smiley, be bubbly. I even had a principal tell me one time that he just loved me because at the end of the hardest day with the most stressful kids, I still had a smile on my face. Now, he meant that as a compliment, but to me, that was a big red warning. What did I do when he said that? I thanked him and smiled. I was in an internal war with myself, and I didn't even know it until I saw it in a meditation. I literally had a vision of those negative thoughts shooting holes in my essence. It was scary. The holes were big. They literally ripped my soul. I hadn't been aware of how many negative thoughts I had running through my head or how often I had them until then. In that moment, they became conscious. And being conscious of those thoughts almost made it worse because now I was aware of all the negative thoughts running through my head. I couldn't be, I couldn't push them under the rug anymore. Now I had to be aware of them. And I wanted more than anything to just get rid of them. And that started Kristin's World War III. Ego. Your friends went out to lunch without you. You're all alone. So, no, I'm going with them tomorrow. I have friends. They love me. I'm loved. Ego. This conversation's about politics. You don't know anything about politics. You don't even know who your state representative is. You're not smart. So, no, I'm smart. I have a master's degree. I've written books. I'm smart. Ego. Your class is talking. Susie's class is quiet. You're not a good teacher. She's better than you. So, no, Susie's mean to her kids. I'm nice. My kids love me. I'm a good teacher. 24/7. Actually, I did have a break when I was asleep. It's no wonder that people that suffer from depression sleep so much. They are exhausted from trying to get away from their thoughts. My mind raced so fast, I could have beaten Usain Bolt in the Olympic Games all 3 years. So again, I worked with my thoughts. I told myself, I fall asleep easily. I fall asleep easily. I just love my bed. Now that part was true. I fall asleep easily. And after a few nights of doing that, I started sleeping. I would wake up in the middle of the night, but then I would just tell myself, I get 3 more hours of sleep and I fall asleep easily. And my mind believed it, and I started sleeping. Now, I worked really hard at examining all of my negative thoughts. I even spent time at night before I went to bed trying to find ones that I had missed during the day. I was getting pretty good at catching all of them, but there were always some that I missed. And when I found them, I asked one question: is that really true? And I found that when I looked for proof that the negative thoughts were really true, there was no proof. So then I would reframe them to something positive and try to find the proof that the positive ones were true. Now, the negative egoic thoughts, they felt more real. The positive ones never felt true. But I was on a mission to find the light of my soul. So, proof anyway that the positive thoughts were true. And I found that proof every single time. Now, once I started doing this, I started being able to catch those thoughts really quickly. And soon I was able to stop them immediately. And guess what? The depression, it went away. No more medication. I was happy. Now, most people, they would have been content and happy with just that victory. But I was Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible. And sure, I had gotten rid of the big sadness in my life, and I felt good about myself now. But I thought, what about those little irritating thoughts? You know, the ones that we all have, "Ah, this line is taking forever." Or they gave me a 5-hour window for an installation period on a Saturday. Don't they have a 2-hour window? Or the gardener mowed over another sprinkler? Sure, those were just minor irritations, but they were causing me irritations. And I was after the light of my soul. And if you look closely, you may be having some of those thoughts yourself. Like, oh, my shoulder pain is back. Why can't it just go away? Or another spam call. I hate these guys. Why don't they just quit calling? Or why do I have to listen to this presentation? I don't have depression. There's so many more productive things I could be doing right now. Minor irritations, right? But these minor irritations are stopping you from being happy. I was after true happiness. I was after soul happiness. So I had to look at these. So I needed a new perspective because, quite honestly, my perspective sucked. So I started looking at them from the perspective of another person. So instead of sending the cashier, hurry up vibes, I thought, you know, she must be really stressed right now, knowing that the store is extremely busy and that there are cranky people just like me in line that she's going to have to wait on. And seeing it from her perspective took away my irritation. 5-hour time block that I had to wait on a Saturday morning for installation, I thought, well, how do they know how long the installation is going to take? And maybe it's my installation that's going to take the longest. So I can be patient. Oh, and that sprinkler head, it's a $2 part and a 15-minute repair job. And my future husband is going to be really impressed knowing that his wife can fix her own sprinklers. So no big deal. And the presentation that you have to listen through? Well, sit back, take a breath, know that you're getting paid to listen, and maybe, just maybe, you might find something that will help you be a little more happier. And seeing things from other people's perspectives, it did increase my happiness. Oh, but then there were the judgments. The judgments, don't even get me started. They did not elevate me up to happiness. They caused more irritation. And they weren't positive judgments, they were negative judgments. I negatively judged anyone and everyone. You name it, I had a judgment for it. She's too tall, too short, too bossy, not assertive enough, too loud, too quiet. You name it, I judged it. And those judgments, Kristin's internal World War IV, because try as I might, I just couldn't see them from a positive perspective. The closest I got was, she is positively too loud. There's that internal mean girl again. I knew getting out of judgments wasn't going to be easy, but I was after the light of my soul. So I knew that I had to take a deep dive into myself and my shadows. I knew I had to own my judgments. So here goes. She's too loud. What? I am too loud. No, 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 no. I am not too loud. I am sweet and I'm quiet and I'm kind. And let me tell you all the reasons why I'm not too loud. And oh my goodness, I can be at times too loud. I can be bossy. I interrupt people. I cut people off. I didn't see this coming. When I'm looking at her and judging her, I'm looking right in a mirror. I can be too loud. Wow. But wait a minute. I don't have that judgment about her anymore. Actually, I kind of like her. Wow, that's soul elevation. Okay, well, that's fine, but that is never going to work on my ex-boyfriend. I mean, that man was so arrogant. He thought he was better than everyone else, and he did little put downs to everyone to make himself feel better. I don't do that. I am not owning that. As a matter of fact, I'm better than him because I'm not arrogant. Did I just say that? I'm better than him because I'm not arrogant? Wow. I've been arrogant this whole time and I didn't even know it? But wait, that irritation that I felt about him, it's gone now. It's like I feel free to let him be him. Now that's powerful. And in that space of letting others be free to be themselves, I felt calmer. I felt more at peace. I felt more accepting of others, and I felt more love of myself. Even if somebody made a decision that I wouldn't have chosen, it's okay. They're human beings doing the best they can, just getting by, just like me. And from that space of we're all human beings doing the best we can, I felt happier. You see, elevating to a positive mindset, it's not about removing the negative thoughts. It's not about saying, rah, 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 you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. No, that's just feeding the ego and trying to convince yourself of something that your negative thoughts are telling you you can't do. It's about removing the negative thoughts, detaching from the ego and elevating up to the soul. And in the space of the soul, your mind is quiet and there's truth there, your truth. And in that truth, anything is possible. For me, self-esteem workshops for teens, where teens have fun healing. Now, never would I have envisioned that if I had a chattery mind. I had to remove the negative thoughts first because the light is already there. It's in all of us. It's in you. I promise you a bliss that you've never felt before. And you don't need to take a drink to find it or shove a Snickers bar or a cigarette into your mouth. You don't need medication. No. Now, you may need to look at those thoughts that you're having, but I promise if you look at those thoughts, you will find a bliss like you have never felt before, a happiness that you've never known. You will feel sweet and smiley and bubbly. And that's how you win the internal war of negative thoughts and elevate up to your soul. Okay. Are there any questions? No. Well, it's been
Then,
a yeah,
can we ask you one question?
of course.
What would be the best first thing for you to remember that you need to elevate yourself, your thoughts to your soul?
Yeah, it's really about challenging them because they're always false. If a thought causes you stress or to not feel good enough or to doubt yourself, it's always a false thought. So I would challenge it. Look for proof that it's true. You're not going to find the proof because it's not a true thought, right? In my book, it's called Starting from Scratch, and it talks about how to challenge those thoughts and how to reframe them to thoughts that are more positive. And like I said, the positive thoughts, we don't always feel that they are true, right? That we're good enough, that we're kind, that we're sweet, that we're smart. Those sometimes feel like lies, but it's just because we're not used to thinking of ourselves in that way. So I would say challenge the thought and look for proof. Because if you look for proof that you're good enough, that you're smart, that you're kind, you're going to find that proof all day long. You're doing it in your job right now, right? So, but we might not feel it. But once we start owning it more, then you're going to start feeling it. And that's going to get you up to your soul. And your soul knows you're good, knows that you're amazing. And we all are.
Is there a fine line between believing our true self, our soul thought versus narcissism? How do we separate the two?
Yeah. So narcissism is more about that arrogance that I spoke about, when we think we're better than other people. So when you know you're good, that's a humble thought, right? I'm a good person. I do good things. I'm kind to animals and kids and people. Narcissism is elevating yourself to I'm better than everybody else. That's the difference. When you know you're good, you don't put yourself above anyone. You're still equal, but you still have that confidence in yourself. Narcissism is I'm better than you. So narcissism really is a form of ego too, you know. And that's a hard one to heal, that narcissism, because we feel so deeply that we're not good enough that we tell ourselves we're better. um to self reflect without being too critical, I would again look at the negative thoughts and look at, really self-reflection is just finding negative thoughts. Where did I beat myself up today? And can I reframe it? Right? So maybe if you have a staff or a patient that you're working with and they didn't get it that day, they didn't make the progress that you wanted them to make. You might beat yourself up over that. But if you change that thought, you know what? It's about their own growth. And they did get something from the session. Maybe they didn't have an aha breakthrough moment, but there might not be an aha breakthrough moment every single session. Maybe sometimes they just need to take and absorb in a couple sessions, and then that aha breakthrough moment comes, right? So if you're being self-critical, that's ego. That's ego telling you you didn't do good enough. So get out of ego.
Well, thank you so much, Kristen, for your time. And I know that it's past 12:30, but we appreciate your generosity in sharing with us your time and your effort and your expertise despite your very busy schedule. And again, if you have any other links that you would like to direct us to, please feel free to send me my way so I can send them to you.
I will for sure. And thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.
And
And
be
we,
happy.
yes, and I will be turning off the session after a few minutes because they're working on the link right now. By
Okay.
the way, you just mentioned about the be happy in a few sentences. Can you tell us the project of how to be happy?
Mhm. So I have a self-esteem business for teens, and my book and curriculum is getting in schools. It's approved for the by the California Department of Education as a social emotional wellness curriculum. And it's also getting into the correctional facilities. I have a meditation program as well that's just lovely, especially at the end of busy days because it helps relieve stress and anxiety. So all that is on my website. It's www.howtobehappy.kids, and